Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
I am. Yeah, they are. It's actually working really good. Sure, we do have the Korean stream going as well. Yeah, I can see it in my recommended videos here.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, Hello, Curling Zone audience. This is Rory McCusker speaking. I am your camera operator, producer, microphone checker, general streaming captain here, bringing you this Sunday morning curling action between Korea's team Ha and Switzerland's team Keiser. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Sunday morning. People talk about football on Sundays, but hey, Championship Sunday of the curling tournaments that happen all year, that's what my Sundays are committed to these days. Quarterfinal action here. 6-team playoff, meaning 2 teams have a bye to the semifinal. And these 4 teams will play off for a chance to enter that semifinal draw. Scheduled to start around noon today. Might be more like noon 30 type thing, but full day of curling for you here at the Leduc Curling Club. As these women's teams lean into their season. It's part of the first few events, getting to the end of September here. Curling season seems to start a week earlier every year. There was a score in the first end here. Apologies, I don't have the score updated. I was a little focused on the cameras, making sure everything was running tight. Reading come-arounds here in the second end. Both teams have their guard, meaning Ha with hammer has their corner guard set up. Keiser without hammer has their center guard set up. Right now play is centered. Play is coming to that center guard. Team Ha will eventually try to move things out to the wing where they have some protection. Really nice soft weight hit and roll there. That'll drag play back to this 4-foot area. Of course, the team without hammer often trying to bring play to this area. Why is that? Well, it shrinks the scoring zone for the team without hammer, or sorry, the team with hammer. Shrinks the scoring zone. It also, hey, that's where the center of the target, your target is. So if you're going to occupy anywhere, why not? And the third reason being, if Team Ha with hammer wanted to draw for their single point, you have that area clogged up. No way in. That's some basic strategy thinking there. And they've put the score up. Looks like Keiser scored 1 in the first end. Fairly messy end. Bit of a 4-foot line guard setup where both teams made attempts to bury a good shot rock. Some coming up light, some coming up heavy, and ended up being a single point for Team Keiser. Team Ha deciding to play ball there, not going for a removal of the guard or the shot rock, and instead coming into the 4-foot with a draw around. Another interesting move here by Keiser, not going for the, what should I call it, the inside path, meaning the most direct way to the button and scoring area. I thought they might play a little freeze on that Ha stone, but it looks like they're going to suck another one around this in-turn draw path and try to lie too. This is their way of saying to Team Ha, you go ahead and make that shot on the inside, that out-turn path. They will successfully do so. That is 2 nearly perfect stones from second St. Moritz. I am not too familiar with this Kaiser team, so I'm going to just try my best here. But 2 perfect shots from the second there. Really impressive. We'll follow this rock down with Team Ha. I'm also on the camera controls here, people, so I will try to spice things up for you as much as I can without jarring the view too much. That's the balance here with these cameras, is see if I can't give you some more information without getting too shaky. That'll wreck the center guard, which of course is an acceptable miss for the team with hammer. That's the whole trick when playing to these center guard setups. If you do not have hammer, if you're the team trying to steal or force, you cannot tick that center guard. However, if you're the team with hammer and you've decided to play ball down the middle, that center guard tick, not so big of a deal. And as you see, Keiser will have to replace that guard. That could have been one of the reasons why Team Ha decided to come into the 4-foot early on in the end. They were thinking to themselves, let's see what we can do here, and we know if we miss, we'll miss inside, taking off the center guard at least. Getting a half shot, a half result out of our shot. And Team Keiser will replace that stone. The angle in the 4-foot there is not so advantageous for Team Ha. If they do promote their red stone, they'll have to roll their shooter right off. Ideally, you would want a situation where if you promote your stone, you leave your shooter right there in the top of the 8-foot, ready to promote once again on your next one, and so on and so forth. Anytime where you have to use an angle that's going to roll your shooter out of the rings, it's not quite as effective, especially earlier in the end, as you leave the door open for your opponent. And this is the time where I say hello to the YouTube chat. Got some action here. Megan Edwards, good morning. Got Mario, Korean fan as well. I should mention, and I'll put this link in the chat, Korean language commentary is available for this game. I'm just going to get that link for you guys. Bit of an overcurl there. Team Ha will simply replace their stone with the shooter, achieving no run back, burying the shooter around the center guard, making it more difficult to promote. That's tough to say whether they're even better off than before she shot. I have just pasted into the YouTube chat a link to the Korean language commentary. If you're following Team Ha, if you speak Korean, we got you covered. My buddy Min providing that commentary over there. Pretty active chat. But our chat is active too. Mauro. I'm sorry, I'm from Saskatchewan. I don't see many different names where I'm from. So to sound things out. Ready for a good game here. And it is run back time for Team Ha. Things have not gone as planned down the middle. So they'll have to try to shake things up here. This is curling right away, though. Just a bit of a soft release, we would say, on that stone. Didn't quite pop it, push it to the broom. And on swingy tournament ice, that is a recipe for an overcurl. An overcurl, Team Ha will. Still removing the center guard, so a somewhat acceptable result there. Team Keiser will have to replace that or make another move. Looks like another center guard coming down the ice. This one curling quite a bit. Sweepers were not on that one, indicating they wanted it to stop curling. As sweepers sweep the last fifth of the shot, they try to manage that curl. Usually sweeping if they want more curl, and either light clean or just fully off if they want it to stop curling. They were fully off at that one, so you got to think that guard over curled just a little bit. Still a fairly ideal situation for Team Keiser here. Ha will have one chance to come around this guard and make some type of tap, as they're indicating here. One chance to make it before Keiser can seal up the rest of the 4-foot line and barring a run back or an in-off or some kind of end-saving shot, Kaiser's thinking that they're going to get their steal of either one or two, or a worst case, a force here. Of course, if there's no guard, Team Ha would have not a simple, but a very makeable run-back double to clear those yellow stones out of the 4-foot, but that guard does hang on to make that angle quite tough. It does look like Team Ha is going to take a crack at this, though. Likely satisfied if they don't remove any yellow rocks and simply just promote their red rock for shot. Stone. At this point in the second end, down 1 point, you have to be concerned about just getting your single point and trying again in the third. Little hack waiter coming down the ice. Looks a little heavy. and outside. We've got both outside sweepers trying to carve that over. Does not look like this is going to curl enough, and no, it will not. They'll split their own stone off, and really that was kind of the last chance to save the end for Team Ha. Keiser will really be able to seal things up here and make it very difficult for Team Ha to score their single point, let alone give up less than one. Being specific, figuring out exactly where they want this shot to go. Big chance here for Team Keiser to really put the pressure on here in the second end. Not that a guard is a particularly hard shot, but for a skip, you curling fans have seen over the years, sometimes it's more difficult than you think. Skips are not often keeping track of the lines needed to throw a perfect guard. She overcurled on her first one. Sweeper is right off of this one as it comes in, indicating it may be overcurling. And I gotta say, not doing too much. You've cut off a bit of the path to the forefoot, but really for Team Keiser, that guard was much better off a foot at least to the left. Another difficult shot, but Team Ha's going to have a crack here. Back down the ice. An end-saving shot here. Wonder if she'll try to remove both yellow stones and count her one that way, or whether she'll try to stick around in that top forefoot and count her one that way. Seems to be soft weight ice. Smooth delivery. Very big shot here. Save 1 point. Sweeping it in. They will remove one yellow stone and roll out. A very difficult shot. Solid attempt, but in the end, it's a steal of 2 Team Keiser going into the third end. Team Ha will have hammer when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back, everyone. A very extended little break between ends as both teams holding minutes-long meetings. Team Ha is trying to figure out what went wrong there, what position they're in now, and what the plan is going forward. Down 3 points. Down 3 points is not game over by any means, but it does mean even if you score your 2 points, which should be the objective for a team with hammer, even if you score your 2 points, you'll have to win the next 2 ends just to tie the game. Winning meaning get a force and then score another 2. So all it means is the game just got a little more condensed for Team Ha. Even though it's only the third end here, they'll have to play it like they're nearing the end of the game. Don't have as much patience to be satisfied with blank ends. Be satisfied with open houses. You will have to be the one to take some risks now, and they'll start by throwing a corner guard. That's an old school corner guard, right in the actual wing. Sometimes we see corner guards thrown more along the 4-foot line, just into the 8-foot. That one's getting right out there, right out of their way for a potential draw to the button. Is the thinking there. Ignoring stones again, going around their own corner. I support this strategy. You will be making things move down the middle later on. It's okay. For now, settle on your own strategy, your own plan. Let the seconds and thirds worry about clearing out that middle. While you have this corner guard up, and while Team Keiser, well, it's protected by the free guard zone is what I should say, use it. And that's what they'll do. It's tough to say whether that was known out of her hand, whether that was heavy. But they'll sweep it to bury it. Unfortunately, only third shot, so it makes the task ahead that much more difficult. Now you'll have to remove both of those yellow stones and whatever Team Kaiser can produce here in order to count that backbiter. Fully undercover, though. They appear to be satisfied with leaving this one as a guard. Oh, coming into the rings. And now the grind begins for Team Ha, removing these guards or these stones in the center, all while putting their shot rock in a place that will be difficult to remove. It's a tall order. They're going to need quite a few shots in a row here to clear that middle and to move their stones onto that right side of the house where they have their current setup. Shot number 1 of this task they have ahead of them. Nice little hack waiter. On it the whole way. All done made. Nearly perfect, but as you can see, 3/4 of that stone or more still showing for Team Kaiser. And that's a good example of how much harder your shots become as you try to play aggressively like this. Really putting the onus on yourself to turn that situation in the house around, and it's very difficult to make a specific hit like that and roll 6 feet. She rolled 5 feet, usually pretty good, but at this level, it has to be executed perfectly in order to be effective. Kaiser, of course, wanting to roll back to the center line, but their degree of precision is much lower. They're very satisfied with removing the Team Haas stone and just sticking around for a shot rock in the rings. That roll was somewhat of a bonus. Made perfectly, though. Team Ha will take advantage of the grouping of the stones and try to make a double, knowing that they have to remove these yellow stones at some point. May as well be now. One and two. So they'll remove both yellows. Of course, the disadvantage being they are now wide open for Team Kaiser to make a play on. Ends up chipping it. Not ideal. So, Team Ha's dream has been achieved. Dream come true. They get to use this corner guard setup. They've successfully managed the stones in the middle. Now, instead of hitting to lie 2 here, they can recognize an opportunity to set up an even bigger score. So, ignoring the Kaiser stone, they will come right into the 8 foot around their corner guard. daring Team Keiser. Come chase us over here. Quite satisfied that Team Keiser will not guard their stone in the back of the rings. Not worth protecting. Waiting for this one to curl. Another deep stone. An inside-out draw path really sailing on Team Ha right now. Moving very quickly. It's 2 draws in a row down that path that they've made. That just would not put on the brakes. All right. Third, Elena Mathis. Could barely wait for the skip to put the broom down there before she threw. She's ready to rock. She knows exactly what shot she needs to play. It does not take long to deliver it. Really nice looking rock here. Yeah, you gotta wonder what they thought might happen there. Would have been pretty tough to remove both red rocks, so I was a little surprised to see that weight being played. Team Keiser's shooter will hold on to shot rock. Final third stone. And number 3 will be yet another draw around the corner guard. Team Ha will rely on their skip to make some type of double or some type of play on those back yellows to try to cash in that biting stone in the back of the rings. For now, another draw around the corner. And tell me if you've heard this before. Looks a little heavy. Oh, no. No, weight was fine. Very well made shot. Looks like a bit is still peeking out. Give a hit opportunity for Team Keiser, but that's just a perfect depth. Nothing to freeze to. If they make a little hit and roll, Team Ha will be satisfied with making their own hit and roll back. Besides being a little poking out from behind cover, that is a nearly perfect shot. Another soft weight hit. Chasing that Team Ha stone around the corner guard. Looks pretty good. Sweeper on it the whole way. They will make the hit and roll. They seem to be satisfied with just making those rocks go away, letting Pod make the magic happen with some sort of double or a more difficult shot. Team Keiser playing with 3. Apologies if I've screwed up any names or anything like that. But I probably would have done that anyway. So, no big deal. For those who don't know me, Rory McCusker, curling stadium contributor, camera person, stream manager. Just thrilled to be with you this Sunday morning watching high-level curling from a club where, you know, in years past, we probably wouldn't have got to see much of this. Enjoying this 21st century live streaming curling. Yeah, 2 short years ago, I would have been on curlingzone.com hammering F5 to refresh the scores. But nope, we get to watch it live now. This does not look like weight to move 2 stones. Team Haas sweeping for the roll here. Oh, and they will get 2 moving. Oh, and just barely, do not spill that second stone. Oh, what an effort. Hit the rock exactly where they wanted to hit it. Team Ha will lie 1 behind cover with no real freeze opportunity. I mean, you can see Team Keiser put their broom on the corner of that stone. There is a 1-foot area where they could gain shot rock while maintaining backing. That would really handcuff Team Ha and force them to a single point. Very difficult shot, though. If not executed well, it may leave a hit for 2 or even worse, a hit for 3. So a very confident discussion here, looking at making that freeze. And that's what they're going to call. Nothing wrong with this call. They must think that the risk of hitting that red stone and it jamming at the back, or them making a draw of their own, will only leave an easy shot. So they'll go for this freeze. Corner freeze, I should say. Shows a great understanding of the likelihood of her making other shots. It's not always best to just think scared and think, I got to hit everything in sight. This is a very interesting way of accepting, okay, this is how the end has turned out. This is our shot to save the end. Let's make it. Looks a touch heavy, although I said that last time. Okay, so a satisfying result. Obviously, that stone's a little better off to the left, using the red stone as backing, but she'll get, you know, maybe half buried, lying 1. No double is the big victory here, so there will be no shot for 3 for Team Ha. Team Ha working all end to see if they can't count that back red stone, and they almost did. So close to being able to bring that one into play, just missing her double earlier. But with a decent shot by Team Keiser, they will have a, you know, somewhat open, definitely makeable soft weight hit for 2. Which would be a great bounce back from the previous end, giving up a nasty steal of 2. And here we go. Skip's final rock. I like to zoom right in. Let's get the facial information, the expression. Or Skip Seungyoun Ha. I hope Min is cracking up over my pronunciation of that name. Release is good. Very intense sweep call so far. Both sweepers on it. And they will get it by the guard. They will remove the yellow stone, and they will roll for 2 points. Great bounce back in from Team Ha there. We got a game. 3-2. Keiser leading Ha with hammer going into the fourth end. Oh, nice. Yeah, good. I just invited my dad to... Welcome back, everyone. Ooh, changing rocks. I'm always entertained by this. Seems like Team Keiser has found a rock with some unique characteristics. So whether it means that rock is curling more or a little bit heavier, they will look to their lead to manage it, getting it out of the hands of specifically their skip. You will see that. If a rock is determined to be undesirable, the lead will throw it. Yet another burden on lead, the hardest position in curling. And when you're down points here, especially without hammer, all jokes aside, the lead rocks are excessively important. These are the only rocks you have where you can take advantage of the free guard zone. Looking for a little freeze tap, can't bounce off, and it stops just in time. Not a perfectly executed shot, but that angle is enough. Concentrate play in that 4-foot. If a play is made on that red, the yellow will then move. Team Keiser's yellow stone in the top 4-foot, of course, being in a perfect position. This one is a rocket. Outside, no touching from the sweepers. Will it make contact? Nah, it'll sail right by. Still some value in sitting in the top back of the 12-foot there, but the likelihood of that stone counting or is quite low, and the likelihood of it making a difference in the end is almost zero. You can't promote stones in the back of the house. Stones in the back of the house can only be used as tools for freezes or set up backing, set up scoring scenarios for your opponent. As the team with hammer, they will welcome all and any rocks that stay in the rings of their own, knowing that if they can ever clear things out, they might have a chance of counting it. Team relishing their last opportunity to use this center guard before it is available for removal. So they will try to create a nice frozen multi-rock kind of pocket in the 4-foot here before they're faced with prospect of being peeled out. And that is a perfectly made shot. Control of the front will belong to Team Ha. And Raphaela Keiser will come out and signal appeal. Get rid of this center guard. Easily the most dangerous stone in the rings right now. A little bit of lag there, folks. Sorry about that. And that's your standard peel. And now a series of trades will take place. This could last the entire end until skip stones, or there could be a missed shot somewhere along the line here, but pretty standard curling rhythm here. One team guarding, one team peeling. We'll see how long they make and replace, or I should say peel and replace this center guard. Center guards, of course, being the lifeline of teams without hammer. Center guards are your way of dictating where the play will end up. Really working on this one hard to curl. And they do. They sweep it right over. Great sweep. Perfect spot. As you can see, the only ways at those red stones in the rings are from the outside angles. I mean, Raphaela thinks she can see a soft weight inside roll here to kind of jiggle the stones up a little bit. Of course, right now the red stones are in contact with the yellow, meaning if you remove them, the yellow goes flying as well. If Team Keiser was able to just gently tap and roll right where her broom is positioned right there, you would unlock the yellow from those two reds and put your shooter in a position that will double the reds off on the next shot. So these little tap-tap scenarios, that's what teams are thinking. What's it going to look like on my next one? You're not going to make the magic happen with this first shot, but if you can change the angles, change the frozen rocks, you can have a shot at your next one to get the action that you desire. These shots are fun to throw. You get really rewarded for throwing just the perfect weight and perfect line, using your sweepers. She is using her sweeper here. Appears to be all over the guard. And as we've talked about earlier, the team with hammer, very satisfied with wrecking on a guard. If that was Team Ha, however, trying to make a play around their own center guard and they tick it off, that is a total disaster. You've more or less made a shot for the opponent. So that's the advantage of having hammer and playing down the middle here, is you can tick that center guard. And anytime you do it, it's going to be an acceptable result. Nearly any time you do it. Team Ha will replace that guard. They learned a little something there, though. Even though they thought they put the guard in the perfect spot, they saw that Team Keiser actually made a play around it. So maybe they'll try to throw it, and yes, we can see from the tapping of the broom, a little tighter to the rings. What they've learned is Team Keiser will still try to make plays around the center. And they do. They bring this one quite a bit tighter to the rings, taking away the angle that Raphaela saw on her first one. But the trade-off there, the center line red is now exposed, and they can make sort of a version of the same shot by bumping and rolling slightly, unlocking the red-yellow freeze, and leaving their stone, the yellow stone, as the controlling rock. Oh, looks like she's changed her mind. She will run this guard back. Once again, third rock thrower or second rock thrower, I should say, with a team of 3. Very eager to get in the hack and throw this one down the ice. She will miss considerably, peeling off that red stone. And rhythm continues. Another guard. More sweeping to get this rock to curl at the end. Coming even tighter than before. Deeper and deeper, closer to the rings every attempt, every guard attempt so far. Now that is perfect line. And yeah, no thinking required here. Raphaela Keiser will send this rock back. And try to get her jiggle in the rings this way. Of course, there is risk. She's just barely blown by everything again. 2 missed run backs. Not the longest run back. That was less than a 5-foot run back. So you're looking at more than 50% of the time you would expect to make that shot. So 2 misses in a row might sting a little bit, but again, like we had established, the center guard is removed. You're still getting a positive result out of that shot. We're going to switch over to mine? Or, sorry, is CBC going to switch over to mine? That's what I should say. Looking like ice for a play down the middle here. So after being satisfied guarding all end, Team Ha has decided this is the time. They will be making a play to sit shot rock down the middle. Tap. And a removal of the yellow stone. So that'll leave Team Ha sitting 3 rocks in the top 8 and top 4. No triple available. And a pretty tough double available. That is a very good angles for Team Ha in the middle of the rings here. No guard, but really it looks like that's going to take 2 stones to clear out. So Team Keiser with only 2 stones remaining will try to make the most of their first one here. You got to think the idea of counting their stone in the back 12-foot may be gone at this point, and just making sure that they can score their single point here in the even 4th end has become the priority for Team Keiser. Looking at catching this outside red as tight as they can to the middle to get that rolling action to then clear the next 4-foot. There is no double here, I don't think. Asking a lot from their skipper here, or their fourth stone thrower. That's got big weight. Looks very close. Sweeper's on it. Oh, wow. Really good action on that stone. They may have even pushed it out to keep the dream alive of counting their back 12 red. Let's see if we can get a better angle of that. Yeah, with that red pushed nearly to the edge of the rings. Geez, that is close. Very tough to tell from this overhead angle, but Team Keiser may be sitting 3rd shot in the back of the rings. That's important, of course, because if Team Ha leaves a double here, that will be a shot for 3. Raphaela Keiser. Huge turnaround with that. Big weight, double takeout. Team Ha still very satisfied with the way this end is looking, and a made shot here will force Team Keiser. They'll be focused on removing that shot yellow stone and rolling to a place where a double will be more difficult to execute. They will roll those perfectly flat. You cannot ask for anything more from your skip there. Beautifully made shot. appearing to be playing without Selena Wishunki. Again, I obviously butchered that name, so let's not think too much about it. Last rock here, taking on the double. Big weight needed. That looks gone right out of her hand. Bit of a dump, as we would say. They'll blow it right by, rolling their shooter out. So this will be a steal of at least one, and they'll be looking. With Team Ha removing the stone, I would assume that that's just a steal of one. Great skip play here in the quarterfinal. All tied up. Team Keiser will take the hammer into the fifth end when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth end break. Both teams getting a rest here, getting their snacks going, getting their protein shakes going, their weird colored bottles with yellow and blue athletic fluid. I still don't really understand what those guys have in there, but making sure they're fully focused, ready for the rest of this game. It has been a thriller so far. Team Keiser going up early with a score of 1 in the first. Really well put together end in the second to force Team Ha to some very difficult shots. Keiser ends up stealing 2 there. Team Ha answering the bell, throwing corner guards, ignoring very well placed Keiser stones, eventually working the end into their corner guard setup, and they get to that end. And as we just saw in the fourth end, really well manufactured center line guard, frozen top 4-foot scenario where Team Ha was able to steal a point, leaving a shot for 2 for Team Keiser, a very big weight double that was misthrown, to be honest. over curled, rolled out the opposite side she was intending to hit it on. So that'll be a steal for Ha. Both teams getting themselves together. The classic bro shake. And as they wave their gripper around planning the next end, we will take another commercial break here. Thanks for sticking with us. Curling Stadium Live.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
In action here in Leduc. Nice fourth end break for these teams. A little reset, little talk to the coach if they have one here. Team Keiser playing with 3, which at this point in the tournament starts to catch up with you. You know, as far as the shot making goes, doesn't make a huge difference. The sweeping, yeah, it makes a bit of a difference, but the real disadvantage of playing with 3 is the fatigue and as you enter Championship Sunday. Starts to catch up with you a little bit. Besides, of course, not having your regular rhythm and team dynamic active. I'm not sure if that was a center guard that accidentally sailed into the rings, but Team Keiser will hit it anyway. If Team Ha was looking to take advantage of the free guard zone, they've missed their first opportunity. Now an interesting call here. They'll hit this one, hoping to stay on the nose, where they might be able to stay in the free guard zone. That stone will be very easily ticked or split. But it accomplishes both things. It gets the Keiser team, who has hammer, gets their rock out of the rings and leaves yours in the free guard zone. So if they can execute it, and that's how delicate that shot was. They were 1.5 inches off of the nose, and that may have rolled them into the rings. It looks like it did. So nearly perfectly executed, but instead, Team Keiser will get a hit and roll opportunity to either roll one into the rings, maintain control, and go for the blank, or leave it slightly high the rings, give themselves a tight corner guard to work with as they try to manufacture 2. Either way, Team Keiser will take an early advantage in this end. Waiting for that one to curl up, And it will spin into the rings. Oh, that last little hook may have given them a piece of the rings. Nope, Team Ha does not think so. So that'll be a break for them. They'll set a center guard, but really, because of what happened earlier this end, Team Kaiser still totally in control here. As they place this guard, Team Ha, Kaiser will be able to peel it off if they so desire. And this has all the makings of a blank end, if that was the objective for Team Kaiser. This one will also sail a little deep. Makes no difference, really. For Raphaela here, she'll remove the stone, attempt to roll it to the same side of the rings that her setup is already on. Nice soft weight's going to allow them to control this roll. And that's just another great shot from first rock thrower here. Let's see if I can get a name on the back of that jersey. I believe that is Marina Lortscher. Now, if you don't believe me when I pronounce these names, you shouldn't. But what you should do is go to curlingzone.com, go to the scoreboard on the side of the page, find the game that you're watching, and click Game Details. Not only is that going to have lineups for you, it's going to have head-to-head records, you can access that teams page. Any of your stats or information needs are answered at curlingzone.com. You can also find links to the live games. It's a great home base for you. I would just recommend setting your home page on your browser to curlingzone.com and navigate from there. Glad to have you with us, curling audience. We've got almost 150 watching on YouTube here. We've got 70 people watching the Korean language restream. If you're interested in Korean language commentary, hop on over. I've got the link here in the YouTube chat, where our friend Min is putting together a Korean language stream for those of you who speak Korean or want to follow Team Ha. And that rollout by Team Kaiser. The blank is in the air once again. Kaiser will occupy that open side. But really, at this point, the blank is the objective for Team Kaiser here. You're in the fifth end. It's more advantageous to score in those even ends as the rhythm of curling, of offense, defense, trades back and forth. Of course, there are steals and blanks that upset that rhythm, but commonly one team will score after another. So using that knowledge of the likelihood of which team scores next, those even ends, starting even with the second end, but gaining importance as the game goes on. 4th end, 6th end, 8th end. These are the ends where you wish to maintain hammer. So, with that in mind, Team Keiser will be very happy blanking this 5th end. Now at a tie game, Team Ha does not need to force any risky play, whereas they did at the beginning of the game when they were down 3 points. More comfortable position now. Team Ha has got to be quite happy with how far they've come since the 3rd end when they were down 3 points. Playing very risky shots, very risky calls. These blank ends, it's nice to kind of have some secondary goals here. Yes, you're clearing rocks out of the rings, and yes, you're trying to roll to specific zones, but as a skip, you can use this opportunity to read some parts of the sheet that you may not have seen yet. Notice that they took an inside-out turn at this rock. Perhaps that indicates it's a spot they haven't quite seen yet, so you can track the travel of the rock for perhaps a more important shot later in the game. You can see Skip and 3rd rock thrower there discussing. Very likely that spot they just threw it down. Or what they're going to have for lunch after the game. Depends how focused they are. Wasting no time here. Raphaela trying to stay warm. Skipping can be cold business. Gotta take advantage of these opportunities to stretch your muscles a little bit. Basic hit and roll. Nice positive release. If you could see that twist of the handle, giving that rock lots of rotation, guiding it outwards to the broom. Tends to keep the rock a little straighter as it sails down the ice, manage the sweeping a little better. That'll be a good practice stone for what will surely be more important hits later in the game. And now, while previous shots did not have much importance to them, this last one, this final stone by Team Ha, this is one you really do want to keep in the rings, and if you can, roll it to a spot where you think the opposing skip, might have some difficulty hitting it out. Even at this level, nosing a blank attempt, accidentally scoring 1 point. It's not common, but it's certainly not rare. It happens. It happens enough that you would strategize for it. So this rock here, they'd love to keep in the rings and put in a spot that they think Raphaela might have trouble hitting it. So they get on the other side of the center line, at least. This will be a different spot than she's just thrown, at least. End of the day, it's an open hit and roll out of the rings with only 3 or 4 feet or so of rings to roll through. So as far as blank attempts go, this is almost as easy as they get. Raphaela Keiser just trying to stay calm. Throw it the same way she did her previous one. Have the confidence that her sweeper can hold it out there. Now they'll be on this one out of her hand, just cleaning it off. Usually a sign that they're pretty confident in the shot. be a successful blank for Team Keiser. Will maintain the hammer into the 6th end. Tie game when we come back. Not a great start for Team Ha, hogging that first stone. One of 2 opportunities to lay a center guard without it being removed. Wasted once again. Lead for Team Ha has been coming deep the last couple ends. I know that feeling. You want to correct it, but just a little too much of an overcorrection there. Speaking of corrections, I've mentioned Raphaela Keiser. That is her team. She normally throws second and skips the game. Raphaela is missing this week, so normal 4th stone thrower. So let me get the name up so I can butcher it live. Selena Witschonke is doing the traditional 4th stone thrower, calling the game. Doing a fine job of it as well. Attempt number 2 for the center guard. She's got the jacket on. Let's see if that helps this guard attempt. Sweepers like it. Coaxing some early movement. Now entering their finish sequence, which of course means sweeping with the grain of the curl, with the curl of the rock, to attempt to get more curl out of it at the end. They will do that. Taking advantage of the Team Keiser little mishap there. Getting that rock a little closer to the center line than I think they would want. But hey, maybe they wanted it there. Maybe they are running some advanced strategy that I am just not privy to. Everyone's got their preferences. Everyone was kind of taught, or many curlers were taught what is the right and wrong place to leave a guard. Well, sometimes you were taught wrong. And these top-level teams will show you, hey, there's a new way to do things. A lot of strategies and tactics we've seen coming out of the tour that may be a little confusing at first. It goes against your traditional knowledge or your traditional way that you've thrown a corner guard, for example, but sometimes they've discovered something. That you haven't discovered yet. Such as the tick shot, such as the delayed corner strategy. Many of these tactics that we've seen come out in the last 10 years or so were awful confusing when we first saw them for a lot of us, especially traditionally trained Saskatchewan curlers like myself. But these teams that play every weekend and have this success, you should generally trust that they know what they're doing. well, enjoying the center guard while they can. As next stone, it will be available for removal. Team Ha will try to play around the center guard, creating some frozen angles like they were able to in the fourth end. Going for a full tap back there. Very successful shot. Totally buried. Top of the rings. At the beginning of this end, Team Ha would have been hoping for a situation just like this. And the fact that they get it after hogging their first stone, pretty impressive. Play two this rock. All game, Team Keiser has been surprising me with their tolerance of center guards. But this might be their tactics, is to play around them with the second stones. Consider removing them later on in the end. Again, I must assume that they know what they're doing. Little concept I teach junior skips or those I've introduced to curling is the concept of a trade, a 3-rock trade in an end. Team Ha makes their tap back around that center guard and leaves their stone buried, which means to remove it, Team Keiser had to roll out a little bit. So after they've traded those 2 stones, the come around tap and the corresponding hit and roll out, Ha has now created an opportunity to roll wherever they wish. The Keiser stone has rolled totally out of the protection of the guard, showing the inside face, allowing this roll to be made just a little over roll there. Obviously, ideal would be in the top 4 foot. But through trading 2 stones, come around tap, and a hit and roll out, Ha then created an opportunity to hit and roll wherever they desired. Pretty good 3-rock trade considering Team Keiser had their control of the top 4 foot, and although it was a little missed opportunity by overrolling, Team Ha took back the initiative. Get a little better look here. So not quite getting shot rock. Definitely occupying important space in the top of the house there. Again, I would have seen that opportunity as a time to remove that center guard, but Team Keiser very comfortable keeping that guard around for now. Confidence that Team Keiser has shown all game. Relying on themselves to make the next shot. Not playing scared really at all. Definitely not scared of these center guards, and as we saw by that freeze call in the third end where Team Ha ended up scoring 2, Team Keiser is not afraid to play the shot that will save the end. The shot that carries the best result possible, no matter the difficulty. Again, we saw that with the double attempt in N4 by Team Keiser, which was missed, but was taken on nonetheless. Team Keiser showing no fear so far in this quarterfinal matchup. They believe yellow is the second shot stone here. Team Ha coming deep on that come around, which was a real opportunity to solidify the 4-foot scoring zone, which teams without hammer are always trying to achieve. Tighten up that scoring area. Occupy the scoring area with your rocks, forcing your opponent to try and manufacture 2 points in that 2, 3, 4-foot zone instead of having the entire house to use. Once again, tolerating the center line guard, drawing in around to that 4-foot scoring area, seemingly satisfied with creating their 2 points out of this situation they see in front of them here. Opting not to shuffle angles or guards around, choosing instead to try and take control of this 4-foot, which they will be running a little deep here. Two shots in a row, about 5 feet heavy, 6 feet heavy. Say what the plan here is. Things have built up at the back of the house now to the point where if you do come heavy once again on this come around, you'll likely still be shot rock as you collide into that back of the rings. Oh, switching turns here perhaps. Team Ha knows that the magic spot is somewhere in that 4-foot. They're just trying to decide how they're best going to get there. Now, I'd be nervous about playing this far out to the wing at this point in the game. This will very likely be much different ice than they see down the middle. Going with the outturn. Wide around is Team Ha. You can just see how far that rock is exploding off the center line already. Really getting into some new ice. Starting to curl now. They'll get the rub, they'll get the roll. They'll occupy a piece of the 4-foot. A little confused by that. They may have thought it would be more difficult to remove out there. It has accomplished some goals. You have shrunk the scoring area. You have occupied the shot stone behind cover. It's definitely not a bad result. You just got to wonder, is that a better result than they would have achieved on the in-turn draw path with a good amount of finish on this ice as well? But, again, we will assume that they know more than me. That's a safe assumption. I am just a simple curling fan who knows how to use a computer and likes to watch curling on Sunday. I hope you're in a similar situation as me. Attempting to follow it around that outturn path. Enough for second or third shot. Kind of raises the stakes here. If Keiser was ever able to make a play on that buried Ha stone, it would be a count of 3. Now this out-turn side again. What the overhead view is not showing there is that Keiser stone in the top 12 foot is not available for promotion, or not easily available for promotion, with a center guard, a high center guard from Team Ha blocking its path. If there were to be a run back of any variety, it would likely be on this corner guard, 4-foot line guard of Keiser's. As of right now, straight run back scores them 3 points. So onus is on Team Ha to change this scenario. Get something cooking here. Very similar path to their first draw. Let's see if they get the same finish they did on that previous stone. A tap, a roll. Well, you got to think they were either trying to stay more on the nose of that yellow rock they contacted, or were trying to curl a little more and hide the now available slash double. Not sure if they would take that on or not. They're looking at the angles now. Team Keiser indicating with their broom they think that they might jam the second yellow or the second red onto that back pile. So yeah. Trying to keep hopes of that big end alive as you have these orbiting stones, these second, third, fourth shot rocks. It's the thought never leaves your mind as a skip. What if I can score all these rocks still? And so sometimes you get tempted into some strategical calls, some tactical decisions that involve keeping those stones around for potential counting. And so as you can see them indicate with their brooms, possible doubles, possible raises, run backs, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to keep that dream alive of scoring those biting yellow stones. It may be too late for that, though. There does come a point with those types of ends where you say to yourself, okay, it's not going to happen. I got to try to make my multiple score with the rocks I have remaining. And this ice would indicate that's what they've done. They've decided that removing those 2 stones is just going to be too difficult or perhaps not even possible. So, in order to score their multiple end with hammer, it will have to be with these 2 stones right here. The first of the skips rocks coming down the ice right now. Gonna sweep the whole way. Weight looks good. Try to coax some curl out of it. And just enough. Brilliantly swept stone by Team Keiser there. That rock is buried. That rock does have backing. That rock is going nowhere. I do not see any opportunity to remove that stone for Team Ha, barring some sort type of risky run back. They will be making an attempt on the outturn side here. Not too sure what the goal is here. Perhaps just sneak it as close as possible to the guard as they possibly can. Maybe get a nose tap. Maybe sneak their shot rock in there. There is no shot you can leave for 3 or more, I don't think, so the risk is quite low. You may as well attempt it. Though by that same thinking, you may as well attempt an in-turn draw to the button. But they've opted for this out-turn. Not quite getting the curl they needed. That will roll into irrelevancy. I just don't see how they were ever going to get enough curl to tap that Yellowstone back enough to count their shooter. But they did, and they're out on the ice. They've seen it curl all day. This in-turn draw that's been largely ignored for the second half of this end will be attempted here. Sweeper has not seen a rock down this path since very early in the end. Makes it a bit more challenging to manage. Last rock. Sixth end. Draw for 2. Really solid, balanced delivery. Outward extension to the broom. Sweeper's been working on it. Will they get it there? Draw for 2 in the second end, giving it everything they've got here, and they will. By only a few inches, if that. What a terrific sweep from the 3-piece Team Keiser. Excellent end, scores their 2. Team Ha will try to answer in the 7th end with hammer when we come back. Here we go, 7th end. What's turned into an excellent game. Both teams have had their time to dominate. Team Keiser coming out to a really strong start. Forced in the first, but a really good setup in the second end to steal 2. In the third end, Team Ha feeling the pressure. Put it all on the line for 2 points. And they got it. Fourth end, Team Ha put the pressure on Team Keiser. Keiser tempted into a very difficult double for their 2 points. Ended up rolling out, giving up a steal of 1. Nearly a measure to see if it was a steal of 2, but only 1 point. That tied the game. Team Keiser then taking a free blank opportunity after some misses from Team Ha's lead in the 5th. And that 6th end, as we just saw, very crowded house. Many shots taking the very wide turn to try and make something happen on the out-turn side. Quite a few misses from both teams, if we're being real about the game we saw, but 2 terrific shots to score 2 points from Team Keiser. Last stone thrower, Selena Witsonki, who's also calling the game today, doing a fine job of that as well. Bit of a miss from lead rock thrower, who's had a very strong game. Marina Lorscher. I'm just putting syllables where they don't belong. My name is Rory McCusker, broadcasting live from Leduc, Alberta. I'm situated in Regina, Saskatchewan. Remote controlling these cameras, this switch operation broadcasting system, checking the YouTube live chats, doing all that. So just so everyone knows, this is a for fans broadcast. Love to see the chat exploding there with big shots. Koichiro Shoda, Megan Edwards, Wesley Coughlin, all you guys in the chat there. Love to see the participation. Like I'm watching curling with a room full of people. And that's the whole purpose here, Curling Stadium Live. Not just seeing and hearing the game, but participating in a community, a curling-oriented community. That's been the biggest surprise and the most enjoyable part of doing these games for me so far. It's getting to hang out with all of you, watching some curling, talking about curling, enjoying the moment, watching our favorite teams develop, rise, fall, change, win, lose. It's all part of the great spectacle that is Curling Stadium Live. Speaking of having fun, let's have some fun with the cameras here, follow some shots. I love to see the details of the curlers as they enter their delivery and release the stone. It's just so unique, so different. There's lots of similarities, especially in this women's game. You see a lot of the women sliding in a pretty consistent, balanced way. But you know what? Everyone's got these little quirks and quirks in their delivery, and I love to keep track of that. It's a funny thing. People learning how to curl will always ask you, what's the best way to do it? What's the correct way to slide? Am I doing this right? And they don't quite know what to make of the information when you tell them, hey, you know, it's good to be balanced. It's good to have this going on, that going on. But really, at the end of the day, it's whatever's going to work for you. Some people like that answer. Some people don't like that answer. Some people love to hear the exact right way to do things. But hey, you know what? We've seen in curling, we've seen some incredible curlers throw a little wonky. Chase and roll from Team Keiser here. Team Keiser in prevent a big end mode. Not so concerned with stealing a point. Not so concerned with dragging play to the forefoot like they would in a tie game scenario. Team Keiser somewhat satisfied with just preventing the big end. So whenever an open rock is available to them, they will likely hit it. not too overly concerned with where they roll. Will guide another rock into their corner guard setup here. Very reminiscent of the third end, which was the last time Team Ha had hammer and was really pushing for multiple points. This seems to be their comfort zone. The guard is even on the same side of the sheet as it was in that third end. Team Keiser can't really see an easy way at that rock. And line 2 at the back of the rings, they will opt to play around their center guard, seeing that as a more realistic shot to make than chasing that perfectly buried Ha stone. Of course, they could peel the corner guard. Is another option here, especially when you're playing defense, trying to prevent a big end. Well, they've got the vision. They can visualize this setup. At this point in the end, they've made more than a few of these shots already, so sweeper and thrower should have a good idea of how this shot is to be made. Coming a bit deep there, which has been the miss these last few ends. Ever since the fourth end break, draws have been coming heavy. And timeout called by Team Ha here. They will take a minute to review their plan. Facing 3 Keiser stones, out counting their rock in the side of the house there. It is decision time. Are we going to try to bring that rock back into play? Are we going to try to make doubles, create angles that would then see these yellow rocks removed and our 12-foot rock counting as a point? Or do we accept that it's just too much work to get these stones out of here? Keiser will be replacing them, putting them in better spots behind this center guard. Anyway, are we better off playing to the middle, trying to score our 2 or 3 this way? Coach has made his way on the ice. As Team Ha discusses what they might do here. He's a hand talker, which I appreciate. Seems to be signaling at those 2 stones, one in the back 4, back 8. They got to be trying to create some type of freeze scenario. It just depends whether they want to get a little greedy and remove a stone in the process. Now, depending on your strategy, removing rocks is not going to help you score 3 points. The traditional wisdom would say any rock behind the tee line is now your tool to create freezes, jamming scenarios, and other situations that are going to help you create a 3 score. The only reason you would have for removing these yellow stones is if you thought you were going to count that outside red rock. Score your 2 or 3 that way. It does look like some type of weight will be coming down the ice. Some type of hit weight, I should say. That will be the decision. And after this timeout, taken by Team Ha. rock was pushed back across the center line. Very interesting release. That will give the rock some outward momentum. And they will try to chase this rock back to the center line. They'll get the hit. They'll get the roll. Rory will screw up the cameras. And they will sit at the back of the 4. Shot rock with 2 opposition stones, preventing them from counting that outside red, which you have to think was the objective of that call right there. Let's keep our corner guard set up alive. Try our best to score that red rock that we worked so hard to put perfectly buried in the top 12. I understand the temptation. But the opposite side of that is to accept things as they are, try to create some freezes, some taps, and score your multiples down the middle. A pure flash from Team Keiser. That one hurts. Missing the target stone entirely, they peel out their own stone in the back of the rings. That stone was preventing Team Ha from counting their corner guard buried stone on the side of the 12-foot. Now, their decision earlier to remove yellow stones is totally vindicated. With that really fortunate bit of luck for Team Ha, really disappointing result for Team Keiser. You've made a shot for your opponent. No worse feeling in the world. No worse feeling in curling. Let's take it easy there, Rory. Team Ha licking their lips. They can see this 3 or more score developing in front of their eyes. They just need to make a few more shots to put the pressure on Keiser, who certainly after that shot will be feeling the pressure now. It all goes back to that decision to come around the center guard instead of peeling the corner. I'm not saying peeling was the right choice, but peeling that corner guard would be a way to limit the damage, have access at an opposition stone. Then, of course, the decision to continue down the center line, try to maintain your control of the house with multiple stones in the rings. It was looking quite good for Team Keiser, but then a flashed hit and a removal of their own stone really flipped the end on its head. Team Keiser looking at 2 perfectly buried Team Ha stones. You got to think that that most recent draw by Team Ha came a little deep. The reason I say that is Keiser can put a rock in front of that red stone, and I'm not sure how you remove it. So that's another effective way of eliminating the kind of auxiliary red stones in the rings, making it freeze call right on this red one. And the advantage here is the freeze does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be in that area, in front of the red, in the 4-foot, biting the button, to the point where it's difficult or impossible to remove, without, of course, removing Team Ha's shot stone. Did that make sense? Did I say him, her, they, them a little too many times? Maybe. Freeze attempt coming down the ice here for Team Keiser. Skips first stone in a chance to prevent a big end brewing for Korea's Team Ha. This one is not getting the curl it needs. They're going for plan B here, trying to come to the back of the rings. And unfortunately, that sails through the middle. Now it still outcounts the second stone. It's not a 0. It's not a nothing shot, but that was definitely just a little deep and a little outside. Did not miss by much. Team Hawk could remove that yellow stone to lie 3. However, that would leave a massive pocket, as we would say, or backing, quite a few targets for Keiser to freeze to. So while it would count them 3 in the rings for now, it would just make the shot for Team Kaiser just too easy. So now, with room in the front of the forefoot to count another stone, Team Ha will suck another draw. Ideally, you would think right on top of their previous one. Freeze your own stone, that exact spot where Team Kaiser was trying to go. Beat them to it. Force Team Kaiser to an interesting decision on their last one, which may involve leaving an open shot for 3 to prevent a score of 4. First, you got to make this one. Team Ha trying to put their stone in a position that will be difficult to remove and without leaving a freeze opportunity for the opponent. Sweepers have not touched this one the whole way down. Same miss as Team Kaiser, it looks like. A little heavy, a little outside. They will lie 2 in the rings. That is not a bad angle, however. As you can see, that red rock is going nowhere. And with it so locked on to the Team Kaiser stone in the back 4, if Team Kaiser makes a freeze on this stone, there may be an opportunity for a hit for as many as 4. Biggest moment of this game. Team Kaiser has played very confidently, not very defensive overall throughout the game, making decisions to attack, go for the perfect result, go for the perfect shot. And you know what? We saw it again this end, and it'll all boil down to this: a freeze attempt on her last stone. Very solid, balanced delivery. Some early sweep here from the single sweeper. Just cleaning now. You must like the look of it. Definitely seems close. Here comes the curl. You definitely don't want to bounce this. That is an unbelievable pressure shot. Wow. Take a bow. Selena with Shunky. Now, I really can't stress how important it was to get that curl at the very end. If Team Kaiser leaves that rock even 2 inches to the left, a nose hit opportunity to spill both yellows would exist. They have somehow guided that rock behind the Ha shot on the button. Folks, you could not place that rock from the air in a better spot. Any tap off if the weight is wrong and the Kaiser stone rolls off and you have a hit for 3 or more. If it's heavy, you create some separation. You tap your own stone back, it's a hit for 3 or more. So many ways you could have left a potential game-winning shot for Team Ha there, but nope. Perfectly swept, perfectly thrown, perfectly called. Team Kaiser puts the stone right on the lid in one of the most impressive freezes I've ever seen executed. Team Ha just looking at any opportunity they can to get this stone out of there. That yellow guard is blocking the attempt to play an in-turn hit on Team Ha's own stone in the top 4 to attempt to slash the yellow out of there. I'm not sure what they're attempting here. Maybe some type of run back to try and achieve that. Team Ha will try to make something out of this situation. Big weight from the skip. That will over curl. It will be a steal of one for Team Keiser. Just an incredible end-saving shot on her last. Earns Team Keiser a 3-point lead without hammer going into the 8th end when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back. 8th end action in what has been an excellent game, really. Excellent back and forth battle. Team Keiser and Team Ha. Keiser of Switzerland, Team Ha of South Korea. And if you're just joining us, you're going to want to go ahead and rewind the YouTube stream to the end of the previous end. Incredible game-saving shot by Selena Wishanke. There was only one spot you could put that rock that prevented a shot for 4 from Team Ha. And Selena just put it right there. Team Ha tried to fight through it, make a run back to attempt to score a couple points. It did not work out. Team Keiser would steal the 1 point, and that is, how many shots are there in a curling game? 16 times 8. I mean, sometimes it all comes down to one moment, one shot, and really just ice veins from Selena. The final rock thrower for Team Keiser. Skip Raphaela Keiser missing from action. Team Keiser playing with 3 today. Would not be the first time a three-piece team has won a tournament like this. It definitely makes it more challenging, especially on day 3 or 4 of a Bonspiel weekend, where that fatigue just starts building up, especially the lead rock thrower, Marina Lorscher, sweeping 5 rocks on her own, switching sides, carving it to make it curl, preventing the curl by sweeping it straight. It just ends up being a lot. Throwing 3 rocks as well, it's extra stress on your rock throwing muscles, your lower body. Just gets that much sore that much quicker. It's a difficult thing to do. Not to mention not having a sweeping buddy to talk to or just your normal team dynamic. Team Ha, for the 3rd time, they've had hammer. They've had hammer 4 times this game, and 3 of those times have been this intern corner guard side, a very wide corner guard as well. It's been this exact situation. You got to think that once they have hammer and they know they want to go for it, you got to think they've practiced this situation multiple times. Team Ha just automatic. They know exactly where those first 2, maybe even 3 rocks are going. suppose you could divide a curling end into free guard zone time and non-free guard zone time. So during this free guard zone stones, the first 5 stones of the end, Team Ha completely ignoring Team Kaiser's setup. Just focused on creating their own. Deja vu, once again, Team Kaiser will poke that stone out of the rings and roll out. First few rocks of these ends with Team Ha with hammer have looked identical. Although this time, Team Kaiser has made both their first 2 stones nearly perfectly. Just occupying the top of the house, occupying the forefoot. Team Ha, once again, will ignore and will draw around their corner guard. Some extra communication here from Team Ha, just making sure everyone understands each other. Everyone knows what path they're aiming for. All of these things. It never hurts to establish an understanding. There's no such thing as over-communicating when it comes to understanding your skip, getting on the same page there. Something I found with the Korean curling program, both the men's and women's teams, they are not afraid to take their time understanding a shot, establishing an end situation. Communication, constant communication, seems to be a staple of the Korean curling program. Gotta wonder sometimes if some bad time management habits may develop on tour here. Of course, as they get to international competition, those games will be timed in thinking time, so you're not going to have the luxury of discussing every shot, but teams always seem to find a balance. Even teams that have a reputation for being slow on tour, they seem to figure it out once those clocks are rolling. So, removal of 1 stone, bit of a missed opportunity. Those corner guards were grouped together quite closely with the double peel being very available. So, bit of a miss, bit of a half make, I guess we should say, from Team Kaiser there. Still, with 3 rocks to tie the game, and with nothing in the ring so far, only 1 corner guard. Just doing the simple math, Team Kaiser, if they trade 1 shot for 1 shot with Team Ha, they will run Team Ha out of stones before they can even count 3 in the ring. So Team Kaiser, I guess, with a bit of a cushion, you could call it. Now, the opposite side of that is there are stones in the rings. Team Ha can make freezes, taps, rolls, create jams, create opportunities for their stones to get caught. So by no means is this a guaranteed good situation for Team Kaiser. Things could flip on them very quickly. This second rock thrower does not take much time in the hack for Team Kaiser. She beats me out of the hack before I can even switch cameras. Your basic rip. Team Kaiser, cognizant of what I had just said, any rocks that they leave in the rings beyond the ones that control the center line and the forefoot, any other rocks can and will be used by Team Ha to create those freezes, taps, jamming scenarios. So, cognizant of that, Team Kaiser will roll their rocks straight out of the rings. This is the final end. There's no reason for Team Kaiser to score any more points. Prevention is the name of the game here. Overall, an okay house for Team Ha. As they would have started this end, they would have been aiming for some type of corner guard scenario, and they more or less have it. They would have preferred them to already have a stone in the rings undercover at this point, fighting for their extra 2 points they will need to tie the game. But a somewhat satisfying scenario. Speaking of creating taps and freezes and angles, that's what they'll go for right here with an out-turn, draw, freeze, tap-looking shot. Line looks very nice, which is the more important element of this shot here. That'll scoot that yellow rock to the back of the forefoot. That'll leave the Team Ha stone in a position to jam or encounter the yellow rock. It's pretty successful, I would say. Don't you? Finally beat her out of the pack. This will be more or less a peel. Just trying to get a piece of the red. Is it going to curl enough for a piece of the red? Worst case scenario there. It is tough to move a stone that little with that kind of weight. That would have caught millimeters of the red stone. Unfortunately, creating very favorable angles for Team Ha. That red rock now has almost nowhere to go but straight back onto the Keiser yellow. So, as I mentioned earlier, the math of the end changes a bit now because that rock is going to be very difficult to remove. One advantage, Ha. They'll need another shot or situation or a 3-rock trade similar to that. They will have to create one more angle frozen scenario. As you play out the end in your head, if Ha draws open, Keiser peels the stones, and that goes back and forth until the end of the end. Team Ha will have to be the one that makes a play on the current shot stone, which is Keiser. And as they do that, they will very likely leave some type of double or opportunity for Team Keiser to eliminate enough stones that the end will be over. So the initiative still is with Team Ha to create that jamming, freezing scenario. Very interesting. They'll change the angles right now. This shot would have had to happen at some point with 3 rocks remaining for Team Ha. Oh, sorry, I've misread the shot. It looks like they are drawing around their open guard, like I had mentioned. Got tricked by the broom. And that's well executed. They'll get that totally buried. Great throw, great sweep. That stone is totally buried behind their corner guard. Yeah, a bit of a decision here for Keiser. Do they want to use their first skip stone to get rid of the corner guard? Might be considered a bit of a waste, as there's 2 stones in the rings right now. If they get rid of the corner guard, Ha can put another stone in the rings. All of a sudden, you're looking at 3 stones in the rings. That's what you're trying to avoid, up 3. But if you make an attempt on one of these stones and you miss, that's what you're trying to avoid here. You want to make some type of progress with this first shot. Doesn't need to be perfect. What would be lovely is removing a red stone, but as you can see from this centerline head-on angle, that's going to be very difficult to do. Similar to that. They've made their decision here. First of the skip stones here in the 8th end. Very appropriate, coming down to the wire. A thrilling game so far continues. This is anyone's game at this point. All game, Team Kaiser has never backed down to make a freeze on the skip stone to attempt to save the end. They recognize the very best result, and they went for it. Not the first time they've played that no fear tactic, and it won't be the last. This time, it does not work out. She comes up considerably light, all but guaranteeing that corner guard will stay right where it is. Now, Team Ha has got a decision to make here. While they've stacked some stones in the rings, giving themselves an opportunity to score 3 or more, they do have to remove this yellow stone at the back of the forefoot. That has to happen eventually, or else all of these extra stones that they've been stacking in the rings will be for nothing. The angles are lined up for a nose hit on that top yellow. Yellow onto red onto yellow. Both yellows will spill out of the rings, leaving Team Ha lying 3. That is one way of making this happen. So, decision made. They will be taking the out turn. They'll be playing a softer weight. And they will be trying to eliminate this shot rock in the back of the forefoot, at least. Although I did see them tapping for a hit and roll. Maybe that was the call. In either case, they will get this far too thin. And are they going to roll all the way out? Oh, goodness. Very disappointing result for Team Ha. With that initial stone not leaving the rings, the initial Kaiser stone that they were attempting to remove, staying in the rings. Even if Team Kaiser doesn't throw this rock, you'd be looking at a near impossible scenario. So, disappointing as you build those big ends from Team Ha's perspective. You're always relying on some big shots from your skipper to make it happen. Disappointing feeling knowing that you were able to do your job for the first 3 quarters of the end, and then one miss, and it all goes away. So just to make sure, Team Kaiser will shred this open red stone in the rings. And with that, Team Ha is out of rocks. They will shake hands in the 8th end. No need to be disappointed if you're Team Ha. That was a terrific fight back, coming down from 3 down, tying the game, wrestling control back from Team Kaiser. Tie game in the 7th. Credit to Team Kaiser. Really playing strong with 3 players to snatch that victory. Semifinals coming up next from Leduc. Take a quick break and tune back in. I imagine we'll get going in at least half an hour here. But for Curling Stadium Live, I'm Rory McCusker. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you later today.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.